You ever land on a web page and it's just a wall of text? You feel kind of lost, right? Well, that's what happens when there's no structure. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most basic but most powerful tools we have to fix that, the good old HTML list.
I mean, think about it. Every website you visit is just throwing information at you. Features, steps, ideas, you name it. So the real trick isn't just about the information itself, but how you show it. How do you turn all that stuff into something clear and easy to scan instead of just, well, noise?
Okay, check this out. This is the difference in action. On the left, you've got that classic wall of text. Your eyes just glaze over, right? You want to skip it. But on the right, it's the exact same information, just organized in a list. It's suddenly clear, it's inviting, and that's not just some fancy design trick. That's the power of good HTML making the experience better for everyone. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dive into why lists are so critical for organizing our world online. Then, we'll get into the 3 essential list types you absolutely have to know. After that, we'll figure out how to choose the right one, how to make them look good, and finally, why this all matters for making the web accessible to everyone.
So let's zoom out for a second. Why are we talking so much about a simple list? Because it's actually not just about making bullet points. It's a really fundamental part of web design that makes websites way easier to use and, you'll see, a whole lot more accessible.
See, when you use the proper HTML for a list, you're not just tidying up some text. You're giving your whole site a major boost. Navigation gets more intuitive, your whole site feels more consistent, you're opening up your content for people who use screen readers. And hey, bonus, your design looks way better on a phone. It's a win-win-win.
All right, so we've got the why down. Now let's open up the developer's toolbox and look at the what. There are really 3 essential HTML lists, and honestly, knowing when to use each one is a core skill for anyone building stuff for the web. First up, the one you'll see everywhere, the unordered list, or UL. This is your go-to when the order of things just doesn't matter. You know, like a list of product features or ingredients you need to grab at the store. It doesn't really matter which one you read first. And the code for this? It's so simple. You just wrap the whole thing in a UL tag, and then each individual item gets its own LI tag, which just stands for list item. That's it. The browser does all the work, turning it into that nice, clean, bulleted list you see. So the big takeaway here is really simple. If you're thinking, I need some bullet points, your brain should immediately go to UL. You're basically telling the browser, hey, these things are a group, but their order is not important. But what if the order is everything? That's where the ordered list, or OL, comes into play. This is what you use for things like a recipe, step-by-step instructions, or a top 10 list. If you mix up the order, the whole thing loses its meaning. And would you look at that? The code is almost identical to what we just saw. You still use Lee for every single item, but this time you wrap the whole group in an OL tag. That one little letter change tells the browser this is a sequence, and it automatically spits out the numbers for you. So yeah, the mental shortcut here, just as simple. If you're thinking numbered steps or some kind of ranking, OL is the tag you're looking for. And now for the specialist in the group, the description list, or DL. This one's a little different. It's not for a simple list of items, it's for pairs of things, like a term and its definition. It's absolutely perfect for a glossary, an FAQ section, or really any kind of key value data. Its structure totally reflects that job too. Inside the main DL tag, you don't use the LI we've been seeing. Instead, you've got DT for the term you're defining and DD for its description. This creates this really powerful, meaningful link between the two, which is fantastic for things like search engines and accessibility. Okay, so we've met our 3 list types, unordered, ordered, and description. Now for probably the most important part. How do you actually decide which one to use? Let's get practical. And you know what? It really just boils down to this one simple question. The folks at MDN have this great rule of thumb. Just try reordering the items in your head. If changing the order messes up the meaning of the list, you absolutely need an ordered list, an OL. If it doesn't matter, an unordered UL is going to be your best friend. This really is the heart of it. Think of it like a little flowchart. Are these items just a group of related things? Use UL. Is it a strict sequence or a set of steps? Use OL. Is it a bunch of terms and their definitions?
That's a job for DL. And that don't column is just as important. Using the wrong tag can be super confusing for both people and browsers. All right, we've nailed the structure. Now let's get to the fun part, making our lists actually look good. By default, a browser gives us pretty plain bullets and numbers. But with a little bit of CSS, we can take complete control and get pretty creative. Now, you might stumble across some older code that uses this type attribute to change the numbering style from, say, numbers to letters. And yeah, it's a quick trick that works right in the HTML. But it kind of breaks that golden rule of keeping your structure and your style separate. For any real design work today, all the power and flexibility is in CSS. And here is an awesome pro tip for you, the marker pseudo element in CSS. This little thing is so cool. It lets you directly target the bullet or the number itself. So you can just hide the default one and then use the content property to swap it out with literally anything. Emojis, custom icons, you name it. It gives you total creative freedom. This brings us to a topic that is just so important: accessibility. Using the right list structure isn't just some nice-to-have best practice. It is absolutely essential for making your content usable for people with disabilities. This quote just nails the problem. Imagine trying to follow a recipe if someone read it to you as one long, run-on sentence. It would be impossible, right? Well, that's the kind of frustrating experience a screen reader user gets when lists are just plain text. It turns helpful info into a confusing jumble of sound. But when you use the right tags, the whole experience is transformed. A screen reader can say, "List 5 items," giving the user context right away. They can jump from item to item with keyboard shortcuts. They can understand how nested lists fit together. You've basically turned a frustrating barrier into a clear, easy-to-navigate path. So to wrap this all up, I want to leave you with this thought. All of your content, it has a structure. The real question is, are you using the right HTML tools to show that structure in a way that's clear, effective, and accessible? Go take a look at your own projects. I bet you'll find places you can make them even better. Thanks for watching The Explainer.